So you just bought the pre-constructed Arakni Blitz deck and you want to improve it without breaking the bank. This video will be going over some quick upgrades that you can make to this out-of-the-box deck for about $25. We'll be adding some affordable equipment and key cards so that you can have a more powerful strategy for a reasonable price. If you're new to Flesh and Blood, I highly advise you use these more budget upgraded lists before you decide to invest in more expensive cards like the legendary equipment. I'm going to be using Card Trader as my price guide for this video, although I highly recommend you shop around at some local stores to see if they carry singles before you buy online. But with that all said, let's get into the list. Starting with the equipment, we're going to take a moment to admire the absolute perfection here, as there are no cards that we're going to remove. However, we are going to add a few things. The first is Null Rune Hood, Null Rune Robe, and the Arcane Lantern for our Arcane Barrier package. We're also going to add in 2 weapons to be mixed and matched with the Spider Spites, those being Nerve Scalpel and Orbitoclast. Nerve Scalpel is a great weapon to run if you don't want those pesky defense reactions like Sink Below ruining your entire day. And Orbitoclast is amazing against classes like Warrior or Wizard, who run very few, if any, attack action cards. Moving on to the main deck, we're first going to remove the red spring loads, instead playing 2 Infiltrate. This stealth attack has the exact same stats as all the others, but the on hit it has is incredibly strong. It lets you banish the top card of your opponent's deck, allowing you to play it until the end of your next turn. Not only can you sometimes get lucky and hit something like a Command and Conquer, but you could also just remove a card that, while useless for you, is a key card your opponent has now just lost. Next, we'll swap the 2 Bloodrot traps for Spreading Plagues. Most of Arakni's cards threaten on-hit effects, and with all the attack reactions the deck runs, your opponent might be inclined to overblock your attacks from time to time. And when they do, Spreading Plague gives them Bloodrot Pox tokens for each card they blocked with. Giving your opponent 2 or 3 tokens presents 4 or 6 damage that they then have to overpay to prevent, making Spreading Plague a fantastic way to punish your opponent for trying to play safe. Next up, we're going to trade out the 2 red Virulent Touch for 2 red Death Touch. Both of these cards can only be played from the arsenal, but due to the resource curve of the deck, Death Touch will be a bit more useful. With 10 blues in the deck, your common turn will be using a dagger, attacking with the 0-cost stealth card, and then either sending another attack or maybe using an attack reaction. But sometimes you'll be left with an extra resource floating, and so Death Touch gives us another way to use that and catch your opponents off guard. Threatening 6 and having the choice of token to give to your opponent is a bit better than Virulent Touch, especially in a deck that's already so full of 0-cost attacks. And speaking of 0-cost attacks, let's take out the yellow Infects and replace them with red Ravenous Rabbles. Almost 2/3 of this deck is red, meaning that this will usually attack for 4, but the important part is that Rabble has guaranteed go again. This card simply allows you to extend your combat chains out even further, pressuring your opponent more than they'd probably like you to. And finally, we're going to toss out the yellow Prowls, instead playing 2 red Shreds. Not only does this card have some of the most brutal art in the game, but its ability to reduce the block value of your opponent's cards can be devastating for them. Whether it's action cards, equipment, or even defense reactions, Shred takes care of anything you need it to, making sure you get those nasty on hits to go through. And that's it. That's the deck. Arakni is a super cool hero that lets you go wide with a bunch of cards with on hits, which is not something that most heroes can do. Hopefully this video serves as a great entry point into the game, and if you found this video helpful, consider leaving a like or possibly subscribing to see more Flesh and Blood content. But with that, I hope you're all having a good day, and I hope you're enjoying Flesh and Blood.
If you liked this video and wanted to support me, consider checking out my Patreon. There's extra bonuses like Talishar card sleeves, early access to videos, and even your own GigaChad card. And to those who are already supporting me, you have my undying thanks. It's because of Chads like you that I can continue to do what I do. So please, stay Chadly, my friends.